The rise in move management, I think, speaks to the sort of unicorn that a move manager is. It's a kaleidoscope of skills. And so we're seeing such an increase in families reaching out to our move managers saying, hey, we need help. We want an expert. We want someone who does this day in and day out.
I think many times with families, there's a real misunderstanding of how much work this really is. You cannot come in and downsize mom and dad who've been in their home for 48 years in 48 hours. It just doesn't happen. In fact, it's irresponsible to think that can happen. The stress of a poorly handled move can really send that older adult into a downward spiral.
If somebody has just a bit of dementia, it's extraordinary how much that can increase if the shift to the new home in assisted living isn't handled well, because it becomes so unfamiliar. They know they're under stress for some reason, but can't really figure it out. And so it really helps to make sure that the new home and assisted living is set up with their favorite things that are familiar to kind of ease that move.
Under the most ideal circumstances, transition is hard at any age. Add on someone who hasn't moved in 40 or 50 years, add on some diagnoses, whether it's dementia or Parkinson's. You add all that together, it is a daunting challenge for any family. It's really such a win-win business model. It helps the families, it helps the older adults, and it helps these compassionate entrepreneurial people operating their own small businesses in the local community, where it's very customized to the family's wishes, to the older adults' wishes.
There's so much loss that is associated with aging. Loss of a spouse, loss of cognitive abilities, physical abilities. You get to the point where now it's time to move, downsize. It's not uncommon for an older adult who's experienced a lot of loss to just say, I'm not doing this. This is too much, because in so many ways, our stuff defines us. The hallmark of senior move management is that our members help their clients part with the possessions without parting with the memories, and help them get through this major transition, which they know in most circumstances will enhance their quality of life. If they've toured and had lunch and looked at an apartment and they're sitting with the marketing director or the moving coordinator and they're like, this is lovely, but I'm not ready. I'm not ready means I don't know how I'm going to move 10 pounds of potatoes into a 5-pound bag. It's completely overwhelming, even though they know that this is what they want to do. The great thing about move management, it doesn't have to be an all or nothing proposition. A move manager can work with you over many weeks or months, cleaning out the spare bedrooms that really haven't been touched since the kids moved out. And we're going to do that in July. And in August, we're going to do the bookcases or curio cabinets or what have you. But over that time, the move manager is establishing a relationship with their client, and they're breaking down the barriers that will keep a client from moving. And they can quickly help this client assimilate to their new chapter in an environment that is safe and comfortable for them.
And where they'll make new friends.
Exactly.
Somebody else gets to do the cooking for you. Somebody else cleans. If you so much as sneeze, they're checking you out.
Speaking to the adult children, as someone who went through this personally, it's a great opportunity for the adult children to be that loving son and or daughter and be along the path with their parent during this transition as a source of comfort. Whereas if the adult children choose to become the project manager of the move, then they become the bad guy. There's a lot of really tough conversations where there's hurt feelings. The parent feels like they're the child, and now the adult child is the parent. And there's all these complex feelings. Adult children bring some baggage to the table, maybe stuff that they've held back about their parents. All this comes to the fore. Why not just hire someone who's expert at this, and then they can be their parents' loving sons and daughters?
Because the move manager, at the end of the day, the only horse in the race they have is the client. They're an objective third party who can feel out those family dynamics before things do take a turn. If it's about the 12 place settings of China that mom really wants the daughter to have, and she's like, I have my own China, find a solution for that China. If that means taking it and putting it in your basement for 6 months, then do it. With adult children, it's a new normal for them as well. These kids may be losing their childhood home where they remember their Christmases, they remember their proms or whatever. It can be such a stressful time for the entire family.
It really is. People generally call it relocation. I call it dislocation because you're going to feel out of joint until you're settled into that place. It's not like on move day, everything's fine. You need to get accustomed to it. And you are so right, Jennifer. The impact on the adult child is something nobody ever talks about.